Funding for this program is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
With you, the sun is shining 24/7, 'cause when we're together.
Coming to you from Rochester, Minnesota,
We'll get dark, you'll be my million star.
our town.
I know I can lean on you. Ooh, you catch me like a leaf.
Every February, the nation honors the rich cultural legacy, invaluable contributions, triumphs, and struggles of African Americans throughout Black History Month. The year 2022 marks almost 100 years since an observance of Black history began, first as a week and now as a month each February. Here to tell us about how the Rochester community is honoring Black History Month is Wale Elegbede, president of the Rochester chapter of the NAACP. Welcome back to our town, Wale.
Thanks a lot for having me. I'm really excited to be here, Nicole. So just thank you.
Well, the NAACP has an exciting program this month. Can you just walk us through the series of events that are coming down this month?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a jam-packed series of events. Basically, every Saturday in the month of February, the Rochester branch of the NAACP is going to be hosting events from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So in terms of the events, we're going to start off with racial covenants in housing. When you're thinking about housing discrimination and you're thinking about some of these racial covenants, a lot of folks may not even be aware of what they are. And so we're going to kick off the session with just more educational opportunities, and obviously focus more locally. And then we'll also talk about redistricting. And then the next Saturday, we're going to be talking about Destination Medical Center, which is really important for Rochester, and the state. And, the title, I think it's DMC, What's in It for Me? So we're going to have folks from the city of Rochester, folks from Destination Medical Center, a panel just having questions and just trying to let people understand what is it, what's in it for them, essentially. If you're a person of color, a Black person, how is DMC going to benefit you? So that'll be a really crucial, important conversation. The NAACP, next week we're going to be celebrating our 113th birthday. And it's also important to really just celebrate, people that have actually are heroes of our past. And so we're also going to be having, a memorial where we're going to be honoring, people like General Colin Powell, Sidney Poitier, just leaders, but then also people that have lost their lives just to police brutality and other issues, right? So we're going to just take some time to really honor them. And then we're going to end the series with a conversation on Black art. So we're bringing in Mr. Najee Dorsey from Black Arts in America. And we're doing it a little bit different. We have all these important and more serious topics, but then arts is a way where you can actually, it documents history, what's going on in the culture, in the environment. And so we're going to have an important conversation with Najee Dorsey, and also in solidarity performance by Archive. And they've done, stuff at Juilliard and, just other Lincoln Center, TED. And so, and they're colleagues, TED colleagues of mine. And so we're just appreciative that they're going to be doing something for us. And it's, I believe they're going to be doing a performance called Letters from COVID. Again, we're still in COVID, and you think about everybody that we've lost. And so they're going to be doing a celebration in honor of Black History Month, but then also just for our whole community, just for us to reflect a little bit. So it's a packed full event, and we just hope that folks can join us there. It's all free. It's going to be on Facebook Live, and so we're really excited.
Thank you so much, Wale. Happy Black History Month, and we'll stay tuned to the events that are coming out throughout the month.
Thanks a lot.
Be sure to stick around. We have much more coming your way on Our Town. We continue our double feature with Gray Duck Theater and Coffeehouse owner Andy Smith And we welcome the Rochester Public Library Foundation to discuss all they're doing to support the Rochester Public Library. But up first, we meet Mackenzie Roberts, a local piano teacher, in this week's Our Culture segment.
I have been playing piano for, goodness, about 16 years now. And I started when I was 6 years old. My favorite thing is being able to pour emotion into the music and be able to communicate using something other than words. Music of the Night from Phantom of the Opera. It was written by Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm very clearly drawn to emotional, dramatic music. That's kind of where I lean. I was vehemently against teaching before I actually started. I was going to be a performing artist. I was not going to teach. I was not going to be a teacher or a worship leader, and I was adamant about it. And then I had an opportunity to be a contracted piano teacher. I taught that way for a few years and learned that I really loved kids, and I really loved getting to teach them.
Being able to connect emotionally well with Miss Mackenzie, I always have a great time.
Let's do the same thing, but this time we're going to do it with G major.
That's probably my favorite part, being able to just be with someone who understands my love for music.
Expressivo.
Expressively.
Yes. I was very passionate about getting to see those light bulb moments and just see the joy that I felt in music come alive in someone else was just beyond what I thought it would be. I really got hooked on it. I didn't think I was going to stick with this long term when I started, but it turned into a passion of its own. If you can double check them, I would guess that you can get through a lot of it.
My favorite thing about playing the piano is when everything in the piece, all the practice that I put into the piece finally comes together and it makes the song sound beautiful, and I feel like my hands are just dancing over the keys. That's got to be my favorite part ever. For me, it's just having someone that I can look up to. I have this one person that I haven't known for a while, but I can understand them well because of our similar interests.
5, 6, 1. I love getting to connect with her just in a very real way, just a very honest way. She's very passionate about it, so I can throw some really complicated stuff at her, just complicated to play, complex ideas, complex music theory, and she'll get it. She's an amazing student. Good job.
That sounds so pretty. I love it.
Good job, Bree.
Hello, I'm Danielle Teal, your moderator for Our Town the Spotlight. This segment covers organizations, events, and happenings across Rochester. We'd like to thank 125 Live for hosting today's segment and lining up our wonderful guest. And today we have Eman Abdulmuaty with SETO Bakery. Welcome.
Hi, how are you, Danielle?
Good, and I'm so glad to have you. I've heard all about you from your daughter, and I know that you make amazing baked goods.
Yeah,
so let's talk about your bakery. So how did the bakery get started?
I just started the bakery here in Rochester and during the pandemic and last 2020 December. So I start online bakery. So in this time, I can't get a place. And in the meantime, I want to test how the people would like the food, because most of them is new, something new I just introduced here in Rochester. I participate in Rochester downtown, all the events day. It was very, very successful, and I know I be known more. So I have customer increased more and more and more and more, and give me confidence.
Yes,
I
because
want to open a place. Yeah.
Yes, because you are very good with the baked goods, and you know, people rave about SETO Bakery too. Can you share what do you offer for baked goods?
Actually, I offer most of the item is a very famous Mediterranean baking item. Some of them desserts, some breads. So like I just offer a baklava in a different shape. It's not as a traditional baklava. I do it my own, and I find that the people love it too much. So
they love it too much, which is a good problem to have, right?
yeah. I have to. Something called basbousa is very famous sweet very, very famous sweet in Egypt, and I surprised that people love it here also. So baklava is very famous, but
yes, it
basbousa is I think no one will love it, but it's become to have many order.
And you have an online store that people can get this. We'll add it to the end of this segment so people know where to reach out to you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah. And you can go to www.myseto.com.
Wonderful.
So you find all the items that you can order from
and there's
me.
Wonderful pictures on there and everything. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey Rochester, we at Our Town are going to do something a little bit different for the next few weeks. We're going to talk a little bit about the Minnesota State Legislative Session coming up. Now this is the second year of a 2-year biennium, and typically in the first year the major budget bills are passed, and the second year the focus is on bonding bills and the capital projects. It's obviously going to be an interesting session because we come into that session with about an estimated $7.7 billion state surplus. Now, as recently as a year and a half ago, that number was a negative number, so it does shift very quickly, but it does give the legislature some opportunities to perhaps reduce taxes or invest in other parts of the state. At Our Town, we're going to look at the state legislature from a Rochester perspective, seeing what's going on there and how it's going to affect the people of Rochester and our communities. Now, I spent parts of 3 decades in local office, so I have some experience working with state and federal officials. And it's important that these sessions, a lot of times it's easy to just gloss them over, but there is important work being done that affects the communities that we live in. And I know not everyone has that same extensive background, so here's a little information about how our legislative process works. We have obviously Governor Tim Walz, and then we have a total of 67 senators and 134 representatives. Each representative represents about 40,000 people, each senator about 80,000. Each Senate district is made up of 2 House districts. There are 6 legislators who represent parts of Rochester. In the Senate, the north side of Rochester and surrounding areas are represented by Senator Dave Senjum, the south part of Rochester and surrounding areas by Senator Carla Nelson. Representatives Tina Liebling and Liz Bolden both represent mostly the city of Rochester proper. Parts of the west and northwest are represented by Representative Quam, and the southern part of the city and areas surrounding on the south are represented by Representative Nels Pearson. Now, you can follow the link and see exactly who represents you at different levels of government, but in general, when folks are interacting with elected officials as a local unit of government, you're typically reaching out to the delegation and asking them to work as a team to get things done. And that does make it helpful that we have both Democrats and Republicans representing the city of Rochester in the only state house in the country that is split between Democratic and Republican control. We are fairly early in the session, but already some interesting bills are coming out. In the House, there's a fare repair bill that's been introduced, and this has gone around the nation with pretty broad bipartisan support. And this means that whether it's your smartphone or a $500,000 tractor, there should be competition in terms of who can fix it. You shouldn't be locked into the original manufacturer. That drives up costs and decreases the ability to get things done quickly. In addition, there's a big focus now on removing lead from water supplies. There's a bill in the House to do this, and obviously part of the infrastructure bill is aimed at removing lead from public water sources, and the state's looking at private ones as well. Lastly, there's going to be a constitutional amendment proposed coming out of the House on gender equity. In the Senate, a lot of the bills that have come through appear to be focused on infrastructure. There are a couple of bills that would take a look at reducing taxes or eliminating taxes on Social Security distributions, even if you have additional income. Also, bills have been introduced to provide some funding for various infrastructure projects in the local area. I'm always interested in what local priorities are and how decisions at the state legislature are going to affect us here in Rochester. I reached out to my county commissioner, Sheila Cascaden, who was kind enough to share with me some of her thoughts. The county has identified some key infrastructure projects that they're looking at. This includes the ability to do a major expansion to allow more efficient processing of waste at the waste to energy facility, a major interchange west of Rochester, and also some additional facilities at Graham Park. But even though it's a bonding session, there's probably going to be some additional focus, and as we've dealt more and more with the homeless issue and with issues of mental health, some of the state reimbursements aren't necessarily doing what they need to do, and there's hope that some of that can be changed to be more equitable to counties.
Hello, I'm Danielle Teal with Our Town Walkabout, and we are talking with our guests remotely. Again, we have Andy Smith from Gray Duck Theater. Andy, welcome.
Thank you, Danielle. It's good to be back. Second time.
Gray Duck Theater is a gem in Rochester. You were last on Our Town about 2 years ago. How has it been going?
We had an amazing first 7-8 months where every month the word was getting out, people were coming a lot more. And if you remember in 2019, the Best Picture winner was Parasite, which we had for a long time. Obviously, like every business out there, we had a really tough 2020 and 2021, up and down and all around. But what has stayed steady is people have really valued what we bring to the community and have supported us in any way they can.
I hear there's a new projector and new sound system.
At the end of 2021, we were at the point financially where we felt like we could really, splurge is not the right word, but we could invest in a really good system. So we have a brand new projector system. We got 2 extra channels in our surround sound system, a couple new speakers, as well as a whole new server system. In fact, we primarily still do indie films, but we now have the capacity to do larger films. So it really gives us a lot of flexibility, especially with Oscar season coming around the corner. We'll be able to get any film we want that's Oscar nominated.
Is Cinema Paradiso one of your favorite movies?
I love film about film was my favorite genre. My personal sort of film that really encouraged me to get into the industry is La La Land.
Thank you so much for being on the show again, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. I love coming on the show, and we at Gray Duck love offering this to the community. So thanks for having us.
This is Danielle Teal with Our Town Walkabout.
'Cause when you're around, I know it's true. The way you make me feel is so good, baby. So good.
Libraries are vital to communities. They offer essential resources well beyond a good book. We're joined today by Brenda Kardock, Adam Dickinson, and Catherine Davis of the Library Foundation of the Rochester Public Library, here to tell us more about how the foundation works to support our library and how we can get involved. Welcome to Our Town, everyone.
Great to be here.
Brenda, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about the mission and the purpose of the Library Foundation?
So yeah, thank you. That's a great question. The mission and purpose of the Library Foundation is to support the library beyond the budget that the city gives them. So when they have big priorities that aren't in the budget or new things that they want to try, our foundation raises the funds to support those programs. Like Rochester Reading Champions was one of them when we had hot spots at the library. And this last year, because of the pandemic, the awning for the bookmobile. So we allow them to do things that they wouldn't be able to do without the foundation.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I think a lot of folks, I think we understand public libraries are publicly funded. And really, why is it also important to also raise those private funds? So you talked a little bit about some of those programs. Could you tell us a little bit more about the importance of sort of having that complement to the public funds?
Absolutely. You know, the library in our community is wonderful. They're award winning and they have such wonderful programs, but at the same time they will see needs in the community that aren't being met, and so then they come to us to ask us, you know, can you help us with this? We bring it to our volunteer board, and they, as much as they can, they say yes. We want to say yes. We want to help the community and the library in every way we can.
You named some of those programs that you help fund through the foundation. What are some things, I know this past 3 years now into the pandemic, there's been so much going on, so many ways in which the library has served to be such a vital resource outside of its normal functions. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the programs that have come up over the last couple of years that have been really important and funded through the foundation?
I would just love to toss that to Adam if he wants to answer that one.
Yeah, it's one of the things the library, they're there to serve everyone in the community. And we found there's a lot of people that don't have internet connections, don't have stable internet at home. And the internet is such a vital piece of what they're doing. So creating the hotspot program was something we partnered with the library, and they're continuing to grow that, the technical route for the community. We've helped them find additional resources to help grow. Again, the library does a better job than almost anyone I've been associated with of listening to the community, of asking what's important to you, and then responding quickly. And so that's where the foundation can really help, is the quick part, redirecting funds quickly to help them support some of these key initiatives that are very vital. When COVID shut down, the needs changed overnight as far as staffing and both hardware and people resources that they needed to support the community through the change.
What are some ways that potential donors can give, some of the pathways for giving and connecting with the foundation?
Oh, that's a great question. So, you know, you can donate through our rplmn.org/donate. People can use disbursements from their 401k. We always welcome volunteers. Book donations go to the Friends, but that also helps the library and everybody in our community. So those are some ways quickly that I can tell you, but you can also go to rplmn.org/foundation and look at all of the other ways that you can get involved or support the library.
Awesome. We'll be sure to link to that. Thanks so much, Brenda. Catherine, you're the event chair for the foundation. I know, I think last week you recently hosted Wit, Wine, and Wisdom. Can you tell us a little bit more about that event, and then what other events are coming up that you're working on?
Great, thank you for the, yeah, Wit, Wisdom, and Wine is really one of our premier events for the Rochester Public Library Foundation. And it's really rooted in what the library stands for, which is like, we're providing a space for people to come in and learn and open their minds. And so for us, that's just what we focus on when we look at planning this event. This is the second year we've been virtual. We were virtual with it, which provided some additional opportunities for us that we haven't been able to do in past years. And so this year we had 2 days of events for people, with everything from learning about politics from Tim Penny, discussions about whiteness from John Bewin, to experiences such as cooking along with Sherry, Spiced Up Mom, and experiencing wine tasting and improv. So really trying to do a little bit for everyone, to bring people in and celebrate the richness of our community. As of right now, we don't have anything on the docket in the near future, but we are always thinking and looking for ways that we can continue to bring people together, learn about the library, celebrate, and encourage people to continue to give.
Well, thank you so much for that. That sounds really exciting. I know everything moving into the virtual space has offered obviously opportunities as well as challenges, but that's fantastic. And I think I really resonated with what Adam was talking about, just in terms of the digital sort of equity and the importance of that, and the access that's allowed us to kind of, facilitate really. We're running up on time here in the last few minutes. Can you maybe I'll chime in a little bit about ways that community members out there that are watching this could be thinking about supporting the library and or the foundation?
Wow, that seems like, again, supporting the library and foundation, you can donate, you can volunteer, you can attend our events, you can reach out and ask us for ways. I did have a volunteer last year who said that she was a graphic designer and helped us with one of our letters. So we always want to meet somebody who's volunteering in the way that is most meaningful to them, where they feel like it's a good fit for them. But we appreciate everything that people are able to give so that we can help expand programs. One of the things that we're really excited about being involved with this year is the social worker who's going to be at the library part-time, Allison Carpenter. And I just had a lovely conversation with her in the halls of the library. She's so excited about the people that she's able to help connect to resources now. And that's just another wonderful way our library goes above and beyond to give back to this community. They're always looking for new ways to help people make their lives better.
Well, thank you so much, Brenda, Adam, Catherine. Thank you so much for all you do to support the library, and thanks to the library out there for all that you do to support the community. And thank you all for joining us today. For more wonderful content produced right here in Rochester, please be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter at #OurTown. Be well and stay safe. We will see you next time on Our Town, the show about Rochester.
Funding for this program is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.